Okay, good morning everybody. Today we have two very familiar cars to most of you probably. On the right here we have my personal 2019 Model 3 long-range dual motor, and on the left we have the brand new 2024 Model 3 long-range dual motor. So same spec, but vastly different cars, and I think you'll see that just comparing them side by side here. These are both the same exact spec, so same motor and battery size and same color, black on black. Initial changes, I think you'll notice right away, the headlights, front bumper, definitely more sleek on the new model. You have thin headlights, and I believe these are reflector headlights. It appears so. So reflectors on here, and obviously the 2019 model also has reflector headlights. We do have fog lights on the 2019 Model 3, and you'll see the infamous ultrasonic sensors. Excuse the dirtiness of both these cars, by the way, but just had it for the night. Thank you to Tesla and Rogers for giving me the car to use for the weekend. So as we get closer here, you'll notice no ultrasonic sensors. Vision-based camera system here is where all the park assist features are relying on. So a lot of complaints about that, and I've honestly not really noticed it yet, but day to day the 2019 model is great for parking, and the sensors work great. The measurements that they give you when you're backing into a spot are honestly almost exactly correct, so it's pretty cool. Another call out here is the chrome accents around the windows and on the side cameras there. You'll see on the new model here that it is fully matte black, door handles, trim. And this was a change, I think 2021 was when this change first came, but still something to call out between these. Let's see, what else? The wheel covers. Honestly, I think these new wheel covers look amazing compared to the old wheel covers. I actually have my wheel covers off. Just feel like it looks better, and personal preference, but these are my winter tires on right now. Looks like this car is riding on all seasons, 235, 45, R18. I believe that's the same exact size. All right, so front comparison, not incredibly different, but I think the new model looks a lot sleeker and just better overall. Let's swing around to the back now. And I think the changes around back are much more noticeable, and honestly the new model just looks so much better. So let's start with the taillights. Taillights are much more sleek looking. They're actually fully connected to the trunk. So you'll see on my personal vehicle here how the trunk opens with part the taillight. So this raises up, that stays planted. In this new model here, this is where the trunk raises up. There's your charge port, same location. So the whole tailgate lifts up, and then you'll notice the logo here. I do like this better, although these letters seem like incredibly thin, but overall I think it looks a lot better. The reverse lights are now down at the bottom here, integrated into these reflectors, whereas mine are just in the actual taillight housing. No automatic trunk. So on mine here, we just manual pop the trunk. Doesn't want to shut. And new model, oh, we're locked here. Let me unlock this. New model automatic trunk, you can see the taillights lift all the way up. Again, I think 2021 models and on up from there have the automatic lift gate. And I think there is a retrofit allegedly available for Model 3s with the manual trunk, but I'm not sure if they took that away. Maybe somebody can let me know if that's back or not. But overall, cars are similar yet so different in a lot of ways. So let's jump inside now. All right, so before we jump inside, one big call out here. We have dual paned glass on the front windows and on the rear. I don't know if you can see that, but dual paint on front and rear, which I will say the very first thing I noticed upon hopping into this new Model 3 was the sound quality. It sounds dead silent in here in comparison. Okay, so we are inside the 2024 Model 3 right now. I think Tesla's calling this the re-engineered Model 3. That's kind of their corporate name for it. A lot of people refer to this car as the Highland, but overall, hopping in, I think materials instantly, it just feels more premium. It feels more quiet. See the door panel here, the suede looks great. The window controls have more of a matte finish instead of a gloss. Same with the door open button here. It's first of all much bigger. The dash materials are great. This is just like a soft touch fabric of some sort. Seems pretty thin, but also durable. And then the ambient light that goes all the way around. Don't love this color that's on right now, so let's just come into the screen here under lights and we can change it. Let's just go to blue. Actually, let's go to red. So we're gonna leave that red, and guess it doesn't want to stay. Strange. There we go. Okay, interesting. So you have to actually turn it on, I guess. Auto, for some reason, wants to go back to just a white color, but you can see the ambient lighting now goes all around the car. Looks very premium. I had some initial thoughts that this might look kind of cheap, but no, not at all. It looks very premium. Seats are wonderful. I will honestly say they do feel more comfortable. They're a little bit more firm, and it's probably just because the car's new, but you can see the perforations in here. So you do have cooled seats now. You have the same wireless, dual wireless charge pads here, which I do not have in my 2019 model. Center console, cup holders, and just some bin space there. One thing I already noticed is that this likes to kind of get stuck. I mean, this is a brand new car, but just interesting Tesla things. All right, and then the glove compartment here, not the glove compartment, but center console area, you have a single USB-C down in there, and it's lit. This is just a magnet that kind of latches down, so I think that's perfectly fine. Glove box is just a magnet. It's very tiny. Honestly, this feels like you could just knock that right off, but I probably use the glove box in my car once in a blue moon, so not something to gripe about, but it's just kind of interesting. They definitely cheaped out there, and wow, as you shut that, it's like, don't get your finger in there. Back seat space, I'll hop back there in a second, but let's just take a look at this window sticker that's been clearly stepped on. Okay, so we have Model 3 long range all-wheel drive as configured, 48,880. So not a cheap car. I think right now, if you're in the market for a new Tesla, they have some crazy deals on the Model Y. I mean, I don't know if this is a safe comparison with all the updates, but still rather expensive. I think that's probably what mine cost new. I honestly don't know. If somebody knows what the 2019 2019 dual motor cost brand new, let me know. I bought it used and paid roughly $30,000 for it, which I think was a great deal at the time. Obviously that value has gone down with the price cuts, but still same kind of options. Everything's kind of upgraded, so the cameras, are better. It does say that they have full matrix LED lighting. Maybe my comment earlier about the reflector style headlights was wrong, but they look reflector to me, and I guess they probably could operate in that matrix configuration just by shutting off certain pixels, but that's not available in the United States right now, I think, just due to regulations. But yeah, overall, this is Model 3 solid black paint, base autopilot, and then $10,990 for the long range all-wheel drive option. So let me hop into the back seat now, because there are some changes back there, including the screen. My last comment up front is the steering wheel. It's honestly an amazing change. It feels more premium. It feels a little bit thinner, but also more solid. The stitching. Let's see if I can get a view of this rear stitching here. The stitching on the back of the wheel is like incredibly thick in comparison. I'm sure they've had issues with peeling. I know like the Model S yoke when it came out had issues. My car over here does have some wearing on the steering wheel, and I'd imagine that's going to start getting real ugly soon. But overall, this new steering wheel feels amazing. No turn signal indicator or gear selector stock, so everything's on the steering wheel now. I know that there's a lot of gripe in the community about this, but I've already gotten used to it. I absolutely love it. I think it's just, this is the way forward. And, you know, once the Model Y refresh comes out, I think that'll be the last of the stocks on Tesla vehicles. And I think that's for good reason. This is just a premium upgrade. All right, let's hop into the back seat now. Same nice materials in back. I like that the ambient lighting runs through. Excuse my shakiness. The seats back here are also perforated, which is great. All right, so as we hop in now, big change you'll notice is there is a rear screen. This is for vent controls. You also can control your heated seats. There we can focus in a little better. Heated seats, 3 levels, looks great. You can move, that's hilarious. You can move the passenger seat, and it actually moves like quite quickly, which I think is kind of cool, kind of funny. I wonder if they let you do that if somebody's sitting in there. Probably not, but that would be fun if they did. One concern I did have back here, so I have a big dog. He, you know, likes to kind of lay all goofy and slap his paws up on this area. I do worry that over time they would, dogs or even kids would ding this up, but it does seem pretty durable. I mean, they put some pretty solid glass on their screen, so maybe not a huge fear, but just something to point out. Rear USB-Cs, you have 2 of them right here. Very nicely integrated. Yeah, I honestly didn't even know they were there. And then the vents kind of come straight out of here, which is interesting. But good airflow right now with them on. No cooled seats in the back, but overall just a great view out of the Model 3. And then you do have rear seat cup holders. One difference I guess I'll notice is that the headrest comes down with them. 2019 model, that does not happen. But yeah, I think that's really the basics of the changes. I think most of the changes are really going to be felt in the driving. So I'm going to hop into mine quick and just do a quick comparison, and then we'll drive both cars just shortly and give my driving impressions, and then we'll wrap up. All right, one more comparison I want to make here is just the overall quality of shutting the doors. So as I shut the door, I mean, it's solid, and you do have to put some force into it. Same thing with the back, I think. A lot of people have noticed that there is this latch on both the front and rear doors. I think that's just for a better seal and probably just crash safety. But definitely a feature that, you know, if Tesla's putting it in, they find or feel that it's needed. But same thing back here, solid thunk. And you do, again, have to kind of slam these doors more than you do on the 2019 model. So let's hop into the old girl here. The old lady. And just real quick, anybody watching this has probably seen plenty of videos on the older Model 3s. You can see the suede is still integrated here, gloss black on the window switches and door switch. As we hop into the vehicle, you'll notice that the trim here is wood. I do feel like this over time has gotten kind of sun-dried, but it's holding up good, and I don't love the look of the wood in here. The steering wheel, you know, you'll notice it looks different. I do think it's a little thicker. The stitching, again, is more like kind of in the middle, whereas on the new one, it's on the back side of the wheel. And I think that's a welcome change. But you do have your turn signal indicator and gear selector stocks here. Again, if you love those, then sorry, but I don't think any new Teslas coming out aside from the Model Y right now are going to have those. The screen overall, it's the exact same screen. I do think that the new screen is a little bit more snappy, but by no means is this one bad in any way. I mean, it's very snappy around the map. I love Tesla screens. I mean, they're basically, you know, comparable to like an iPad. It's seriously that good. The gloss black on center console here is probably my least favorite feature in this entire car. It gets scratched and smudged up instantly. I mean, if you even just touch this once, it's like full scratches, and I'm constantly wiping it with a microfiber. But that's just, you know, something you got to live with, and it's really not a huge complaint. Seats in general are very comfortable. The passenger seat here is definitely in better shape. Obviously, I'm kind of the sole driver of this vehicle, so my seat that I'm sitting in now is pretty worn. But backseat space, I got my dog's blanket back there. It's really about the same exact size. I don't really notice more room when sitting in both cars. Maybe on paper there is a little bit of a difference, but it's really not noticeable. So I think that kind of covers it with this. Most of the changes are, you know, very welcomed in the new model. So let's hop into the 2024 re-engineered Model 3 and go for a quick drive. Okay, so here we are, and we're gonna go for a quick cruise. So as you have probably seen on Model S and X, and I guess Cybertruck as well, I think, you just select your gear from the screen here. So back into the reverse, cameras are wonderful, and you can see the high fidelity park assist here is pretty cool. Something I don't have in my car, and kind of wish I did, although the ultrasonic sensors, you know, again, they really do a great job of giving you like accurate measurements for how close you are to objects. But I do like this feature. So back into drive now, and let's just go for a little cruise around my neighborhood. So I mentioned this before as I was hopping into this vehicle, but the sound difference is unbelievable, and I truly mean that. I mean, I went over to Tesla yesterday, drove a Model S, kind of the new long-range Model S, which was great, and today I'm in the Model 3, and if I compare those two cars, I think sound quality is like, I guess I don't even know if sound quality is the right word, but lack of road noise in this vehicle is an immense difference between the 2019 and this 2024 model. I mean, even like large bumps, it's like, it just feels like nothing, which is something that you can you know, give credit to the suspension. But just the overall sound deadening, everything feels tight and concise, and it's just really noticeable in a very good way. Overall speed of the vehicle, we'll give it some gas here. I mean, it's, yeah, just as quick. I don't know if it's any quicker, and I don't think it is. I think the overall kind of performance numbers are the same. I'm really excited for the performance model of this car whenever it does come out. But right now, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, it's probably not worth upgrading from current, or I should say legacy Model 3 to this, and I think that is just totally wrong. I mean, this car is amazing in comparison. It's like, it's a totally different car from 2018 to 2020 2024. I think a lot of those comments might be coming from people with, you know, 22 23 model year cars, and that may be a fair comparison in their case then. But I mean, as I drive this, I'm like, I just can't keep saying it. I am blown away by the overall quality, the feel of riding, and just the tightness. Like as I turn the wheel, everything feels tight, although the suspension is softer. And you know, combining those two things I think is great. I drive 99% of the time in comfort steering mode, and I think that's, you know, kind of the way to go. But this is just great, and it's a beautiful day here to make this comparison. Another thing that I noticed, which has no effect on me, but I couldn't find any regen settings in this car. So I do not think there is an option to, you know, turn your regen to like a light or standard. It's just always standard, which I think is perfectly fine. That's, you know, the way these cars are meant to be driven. It's the most efficient way to drive them. And so I think Tesla just totally removed that option. So if I go in here and into pedals and steering, I mean, yeah, you have your acceleration, your steering mode, and then, you know, the option to apply brakes when regen is limited to cold battery or something like that. But no options to control the regen, which again I think is fine for me, but some people might be a little bit rattled by that if they're used to driving in you know, a low regen mode. All the other settings I think are relatively the same. Turn on auto steer. I mean, yeah, this is a demo car. I know they have some certain settings, speed limited, but overall everything looks great. Everything's a little bit more premium, except for this. Although the amount of complaints that I've made about the gloss black on my car, you know, I'm not going to complain about this, but oh, it didn't get stuck that time. So maybe it just needs to be worn in a little bit. But overall, first impressions of this vehicle are 10 out of 10, worth the upgrade. If you have a 2018 through, I guess maybe 2020 Model 3, before they kind of did some mid-cycle updates, but I think it's well worth the upgrade. Didn't test the horn. Horn sounds great. I'm glad it's on here and not a button. All your other controls on here, your light controls, your turn signals, your standard cruise and autopilot controls, and then your wipers. I do also love this. It's just, you know, quick to access. Instead of on my car over here, you have to hit the button on the end of the stock, which is fine. But yeah, any questions or anything else anybody wants me to cover, just let me know. I have the car for another day here, and then I got to give it back to Tesla. But I'm not going to do a driving comparison of this old girl because it's nothing impressive. I mean, this is like next level, and just think Tesla did a really nice job here. You're going to see a lot of these on the road soon, so hopefully they sell well. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to the performance model. I think whenever that comes out will be the time for me to make the upgrade. But right now, this old girl here runs great. She's got about 45,000 miles and still kicking. I think there's a lot left in her, so not gonna waste my money and upgrade to this right now. Although I don't think it'd be a waste. It's just not the wise financial decision to make. With the performance model, that might change my opinion. But for now, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.